Hello, everyone. Jackie-Tomlin here, and welcome to another episode of When Spirit Speaks podcast. Hope you are all doing fantastic. Thank you so much for the feedback, the ideas, the topics, and all of your comments that I'm receiving on the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Alicia, for inspiring today's topic. It's actually been on the list of things to do because it's probably going to go into like a mini series here. But today we're going to be talking about the paranormal. First of all, let me give you my contact information. Psychic readings, contact me at JackieTomlin.com. You can also text or call me at 804-731-2302. Now, for YouTube videos, as for psychic readings, your horoscopes and things like that, it is youtube.com/Psychic Jackie. Now, I am also the founder of a paranormal team known as Central Virginia Paranormal Investigations. It is CVAPI.com. And later in the broadcast, you will hear me reference their YouTube channel as well, which is youtube.com/CVAPI video, one word.com. Okay. So, like I said, I hope you guys have had a great week. Things are going really well here with the podcast. I am very open to your topics and ideas. The paranormal is something, like I said, it's something I have always done with a passion. Before we spun off CVAPI, we founded it in 2008. We are still up and running, and you will be seeing some more from our past footage on the YouTube channel. Okay. Now, this is another way that spirit speaks. Okay. And today we're going to discuss EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomena. Voice recordings, audible recordings, how those happen, what they sound like. It is one way that we can lend some validity to an investigation to see if the paranormal actually exists. Video captures are hard, obtainable, but hard. Okay. Audio, well, let's get into it. Okay. An EVP, an audio recording. Okay. Wow, there's so many ways y'all can do this nowadays. And the easiest one is probably right there in your hand right now, which is your phone. We'll talk about that as well. So during an EVP session, as when it's a group of investigators that are controlling that environment are asking questions. Okay. Specific questions. Preferably some that are open-ended that could be answered with a simple yes or no, and some that's going to kind of prompt them to speak a full sentence or a partial sentence, something like that, maybe provide a name, a date, anything like that. Okay. So you've got your line of questioning, and let me say this, do not provoke a spirit at all. You don't know what you're dealing with. Don't provoke it. Okay. So simple questions, names are good, date of birth, how many are in the home. These are just some examples. Okay. If you want to hear them, visit our website at cvapi.com or visit the YouTube channel. But let me say this, on a playback, you're going to need either a really loud speaker system, headphones, or earbuds. Now, the worst device you can try to play back EVP on is a laptop. They have the worst speaker system ever. I don't care how upgraded your laptop is. Okay. You're going to need these devices to hear them clearly. EVPs fall into one of three classes. Okay. A class A says it's clear and it's audible. A class B says it's barely audible. And a class C says something's there. Just even with our software, we cannot quite make out what it is saying. Okay. It does make for some interesting evidence review. We will label it a class B if it says something and none of us can agree on what it says. it becomes a Class B. Class A's are the best. Clear, concise, as if it's me and you speaking. Okay. Are they hard to obtain? They're not. All locations are different. All will produce differently, but they're not hard to get. Now, recently, I had a conversation with someone else versus today's technology and our recording devices. Okay, so let's talk about the cell phone. Let's talk about the smartphones. Smartphones have reached the point, everybody, I get real tickled when they talk about they don't want Alexa in their house because it's a listening device. Well, that's exactly what your phone is. Okay, your phone is a listening device. And to test this theory, if you want to sit around and you want to talk about a certain topic, you're all of a sudden going to see ads start appearing for that topic that you're talking about. Okay, you can test it like, let's say you don't have a dog and you want to talk about dog food. You're going to start getting ads from dog food. But have we superseded to where technology can read your thoughts? Kind of scary, but true. Actually true. You can test that theory as well. So it brought up the question of if you're using your phone to record audio, are you getting a true EVP capture, or is this something that is picking up your thoughts? It's a great question. And we come to the conclusion of no, it's not picking up your thoughts. And the reason is we go back, like I said, we're old school. We go back to where we used to run analog recorders with voice recorders, with the digital recorders. So yeah, I mean, we've got EVPs that were captured on the small cassettes of a Sony recorder. It's not reading your thoughts. Very real, very much. I also like the validation of when an audio recording comes in on numerous devices. For example, let's say it was recorded on a cell phone. It was recorded on a digital recorder, which I absolutely prefer. And it was also captured on one of the handheld cameras. So you have 3 different devices capturing the same recorder. Sometimes you can audibly hear which device it was closer to, and sometimes the software will show you which device it was closer to. So it's pretty cool, but it just adds to the validity of that. And we've had this happen numerous times. So it has come out on one device and not on the other. Now, the reason I personally prefer a digital recorder over the cell phone, let me be honest with you. The recorders on your cell phone are as strong as those digital recorders, if not superseding it in technology. Those cell phones will also produce a false EMF spike on an investigation, where the voice recorder will not. Okay. And what I mean by that is your data download. Let's say even though your phone was on silent, a text message come in, it's going to set our EMF meters off. EMF, electronic magnetic field, another show, another day. Okay. But yeah, for you yourself, if not having to go out and buy expensive equipment, if you want to play with the EVPs, if you think there's something present, you feel that you can capture one, by all means, use your cell phone. Free apps all day long, Android and iPhone for voice recorders. Okay. All of them work well. There are different devices out. The one I worked with was an Ovilus. Okay. And these are ones that have pre-recorded words on a device that may chime in. And I'm sure some of you have heard of Ghost Radar, which is an app for your phone. Do I give any credibility to these? I don't have a choice but to. For example, on the Ovilus, okay, we have been running an investigation. This is in Manassas, Virginia, at a theater. Okay. And some of the words that we got at the end of the night were in the actual theater part of the building. And it was the words of hymns, prayer, church, and angels. Okay. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I may be, that Obelisk device has 700 pre-recorded words. The reason I loaned credibility to that, that was the only time during the night that we received words of that caliber. That theater was an old church. Okay. And the fact that it would come up with those words, I thought was pretty impressive. The same with Ghost Radar. Ghost Radar Classic, I think, will give you the words or audibly speak a word, or it shows you like when something's present. We haven't been able to validate the words. But if it shows something on the radar, so at some point in time, we have either captured an orb to be consistent with that, an EMF spike, or an EVP. So a little bit more sensitive than what you would imagine a phone app to be. What do EVPs sound like? They sound like you and I. They really do. Sometimes they come in a form of a whisper, or they're very, very quiet. But bottom line is they sound like you and I. Another instance of using an EVP, and for those looking for a mediumship reading, you might want to ask your medium, can you record the session? I was asked to do a mediumship reading, which is connections to the other side, for someone that I knew and one of their loved ones that had passed. And it was the first time I was ever asked if I would record it. Okay, I have no problem with that. At the very end of that recording, that voice that they were connecting with came in very clearly with a very clear and concise sentence for that family. And that is something to this day that they still talk about, still have, and that they will always treasure. So there's another aspect of how you can use the EVP and the audio. We have had our audio researched by Langley, as well as when we were with Discovery Channel, did an extensive research to make sure your meta tag information, everything is legit. No one can exactly explain to us the audio, why it works that way, why we can capture things the way we do. They just want to know it's legit and it's not faked. Okay. Other things that you want to pay attention to is your animals, your household pets. We know for a fact that their vision is a little different. It's more aligned with our infrared on our cameras. And I think it's the same way with their audio. Their ears are a little bit different than ours as well. They can hear a lot more than we can. I used to have a Siberian Husky that participated in our evidence review. And a lot of people depended on her because they'll be running this audio on this loud speaker system. And if she perks up her house, she heard something. We may not have heard it on the first run, but if you back up, I promise you there's something there. So pay attention to that as well. Sounds are not considered to be an EVP. An EVP is an actual voice that speaks, not a sound, like a knock or, footsteps or anything like that. That is not considered to be an EVP. Now, I don't collect those because we have so many of them. If you're familiar with my YouTube channel on the horoscopes, my viewers will go back and record when they heard a moan or a groan or a sound or something like that. They will actually record that on the comments, and it happens quite often. We have not had a voice breakthrough to my knowledge. It'll happen at some point in time. I'm sure it will. Okay. Now, there's also the other side of spirit, which is your, lack of better words, the demonic haunts, they do speak as well. Normally we don't broadcast these recordings. There is one that was televised that is on our YouTube channel. And what it sounds like is a digitalized recording. When this recording took place, it spoke with my voice through an Olympus recorder that was in record mode. Okay, and it took a long time for us to hear back directly from the manufacturer for them to validate it really wasn't possible, but it happened. And 2 other devices recorded it happening. And that's what I said. I like to have multiple devices. Now, with that said, I want you to be careful in running your EVP sessions. Okay. And I'm telling you this because let's say you've gone into a location that appears to be haunted. Did you go in for the sake of finding a ghost? Were there reports, or are you just investigating to see? Because you can draw something in if you continuously ask something. So I am in support. If you think there's something going on that you are trying to run an EVP session, I am not in support that this is something you are repeatedly doing. Because in repeatedly doing so, you can actually draw something in that you weren't even expecting. So be careful in what you're doing in that aspect. There is so much more that we could talk about in this area of the paranormal. I do think I will be running several different shows on this. We actually offered Ghost Hunting 101, which is a public presentation where we were contracted with Virginia State Libraries to do. And I'm thinking about doing a podcast on that. So let me hear from you on that. And I think we could go a lot further with this. But this is just another way that Spirit does speak to you. Now, the question is, once we capture these EVPs, do homeowners recognize the voice? Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And that has brought up a whole other debate of our evidence review that we found the audio. Then we got the evidence review at the family going, I think it's such and such, and the other one saying, no, it's not. So, you know, there's no way to really validate that. But yeah, all of our evidence is turned over to the homeowners or the business owner. And yeah, sometimes they can recognize the voice. Another question that I'm asked, and the answer is yes. Are we ever cussed at? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have been cussed at on investigations. We have also been cussed at in a cemetery. So yeah, that is very possible too. And then we have the EVPs that not only do multiple devices catch, but we can audibly hear with our ears, okay, on an investigation. So if there's like 3 of us standing in a room and someone speaks, we all heard it, and all devices running at that time would capture it as well. It's actually a creepy, cool thing that happens more often than not. A lot of times we have found EVPs will occur when we're not trying to capture one. There is no direct line of questioning. And what I mean by that, it's like they pipe in with their opinion. We have had numerous occasions where we're sitting there talking about something, and you'll get an EVP that says, I don't think that's going to work. Or I can see it sitting there. It's amazing. It is amazing. We've also appeared in several different Richmond books, haunted books, Beth Brown, Tamala Kinney. 2 off the top of my head that I know that we've been referenced in as far as investigating with us and capturing those EVPs. We've done them for television. We've done them for radio. And Yeah, it's a fun thing. And like I said, it is only one way that we can actually stand behind and say the paranormal exists in this location because of this occurrence. So, but remember, when you're doing this, you may capture lots of sounds, because I apparently do often, accidentally, I might add. Those are not considered to be an EVP. So, but like I said, this is just another form of how spirit speaks. And these, we're talking about human spirits here, human spirits, ones that are here, ones that are on the ground, the ones that are in your home, the ones that are on your property. See, now we're spinning off into a whole different section of the paranormal. And that's what I said. I could do a little mini series on this for you if you like. Okay, guys, that's what I have for you today. Let me hear from you. You have a fantastic week, and I will see you soon. Bye.